Hello guys, in this lesson we're going to talk about your training plan. Back in lesson number 100 I told you that I wanted to start playing tournaments again, and that's the plan. So in order for me to play a tournament in September, I need to start training, and what I did was I had to come up with a training plan in order for me to stick to what I have to prepare, stick to what I have to do in order to be in shape for that tournament. So not only is the case for me, I have a lot of students going back to playing over the board, and since they're going to be playing tournaments regularly, they also have to have their training plan. So I'm doing it for a lot of my students, and I wanted to share with you how you could create your own training plan. You could use this one that I'm sharing with you, but ideally you'd customize it and you'd adapt it to your specific situation. I don't know how much time you have available every week for chess. I don't know the resources that you have to your disposal. So depending on those factors, you're gonna have to adjust your training plan. So I'm gonna go straight to it. I'm gonna show you the one that I'm using myself, but I'm also going to show you how you could twist it and how you could add or remove time and also ideas to this training plan. So let's get to it. As you can see here, this is very basic. So just chess training plan 2021, Monday through Thursday. So this is the first thing that I wanted to highlight. I'm being realistic here. I cannot afford to train every single day of the week. So I'm just doing something that I can stick to. So your training plan has to be realistic. So make sure that it's something that you can actually do. If not, you're not gonna do it, and what's the point? So I'm doing Monday through Thursday, and I'm doing 1 hour, approximately 1 hour per day. Now, my specific training plan, I'm just, if I show you, let me see if I have it here. Look, this is the one that I'm working on. Notice that I don't have the amount of time, I don't have anything like that, but for my students and for you guys, I recommend that you're really specific, as specific as you can. So here, I'm just showing you, this one has 45 minutes on Mondays. I'm going to do tactics. So I'm going to be doing 45 minutes of a book. Now, as you can see here, this is the tactics pocket book that I recommended in that, well, you're gonna see it in the description of this video, and I've been recommending it for a long time. So if you look at the description of any of my lessons, you're going to see the books that I recommend. One of them is going to be this one. Now, maybe you're just getting started and you're not ready for this book. Well, look at the other books that I have there, the more basic ones. But the point is that you do your tactics for 45 minutes. After, when I finish, I go for 15 minutes to website and I do chess puzzles. Now, I personally am doing chess.com, guys, because I have the membership. But if you don't, you could go to Blitz, where I know it's free. Now, the cool thing about chess.com for me is that I could do custom, but this is not something that you want. When I put here on the training plan, when I put that I'm doing puzzles, I'm just doing combined. So it's gonna be what you have access to on Blitz or maybe other websites that you use. So after I do my 15 minutes of puzzles, then I'm going to go to Puzzle Rush and I'm going to do a 5-minute puzzle rush. So when I finish on Monday, I already have 1 hour and 5 minutes approximately. Sometimes, guys, sometimes I do a little bit more. So if you're already in it, you still have some energy left, you could do a little bit longer, maybe 90 minutes. And actually, I want to eventually increase it. So maybe I do 90 minutes instead of 1 hour every day, Monday through Thursday. So that's going to be, for me, as far as it goes, Mondays, where I do tactics. Now, a few things about this. I know that some of you are gonna tell me, you know what, I don't have the access to the membership to do this on chess.com. Well, go to Blitz Chess. Some of you are gonna tell me the same thing about Puzzle Rush. If you go back to lesson, I wanna say 65, there was someone who shared with us a website where you could do Puzzle Rush for free. And that website is going to be, okay, this one is chesscap.org. So you could just do puzzle battles. I think it's a puzzle. No, let me see. Yeah, this is gonna be Puzzle Rush for free. So you come here and you do your Puzzle Rush. Guys, notice that I'm just doing one. At the end, I finish with it. And the idea behind doing Puzzle Rush is that when you do Puzzle Rush, if you've done it, you know that they start with very easy exercises, like checkmate in one move, a simple fork, and then it gets more and more difficult. And the reason behind it is that if you neglect this, you're gonna get a little bit out of shape when it comes to these simple tactics as well. So I want you to be doing the tactics book that you choose. I want you to be doing your puzzle, the combined one, but you know that if you're already at 2000, they're going to give you exercises at that level more or less. However, when you do the puzzle rush, you're going to be also exposed to quick one move checkmates and things like that we should also train. So do not ignore it. Just take 5 minutes, or there's some 3-minute ones. You could do that as well. Okay, so this is tactics. At the end, if you have more time, you could just play a few games, just like you typically do. But the whole point of doing this training plan is that I know every week I did at least, this is what I did. This is the minimum that I want to do every week. So at least I did tactics, strategy, endgame, and opening. If I have to give something up, of course, I'm giving up my opening preparation. So I could easily show up in September or whenever I play my tournament. If I've been training this consistently, I know enough chess to make it to the middle game. Now, if I have the time, if you have the time, of course, take the time to that day just prepare your openings. Now, let's go to Tuesdays. On Tuesdays, I'm doing my strategy. So I'm looking at this book. This is a book that I have in Spanish. But guys, you don't have to do this book. Maybe you're not at the level to understand or to do this book. And this book, honestly, it has a lot to do with endgames more than anything else, which to me is fine. I'm okay with doing a little bit more of endgames than anything else. But I shared with you in lesson number 100 the book about judgment and planning. So you could do that one. Or also in my book recommendations, I shared a book about how Magnus Carlsen got to where he is right now. So they show games and they analyze those games since he was a beginner and then as he moved up the ladder. So that could be a book for you if you're just getting started. There is another book about Vladimir Kramnik. That's a book that you could easily go over to learn about strategy and everything else. All of these books about strategy, at some point, they're going to also talk about tactics, because many of these games, they are, you're going to see how they do the strategic part, but they typically finish the game with a tactic. So you're doing tactics there as well. So on that Tuesday, I'm doing my 45 minutes. To be honest, guys, I'm doing more 60 minutes because I'm not doing this. But for my students, I said, you know what, if you have just 1 hour, a little bit more, you could do 45 minutes of strategy. If you are in it already, you want to finish and do the full hour, perfect. But then after, you're going to play a 15-10 minute game. Now, I myself, maybe I don't do the 15-10 minute game, but I'm just putting this here. Look, 15-10 here, and on Thursday, I'm putting 5-5, because I really think it's important that you do at least once a week a longer time control game. It could be 15-10, it could be 30 minutes, completely up to you. And then on another day, you also get exposure to the time pressure. So if you play 5-5, if you feel you have more experience, you want to do 3-2, you're going to get experience too with playing under time pressure. So at least make sure that every week you hit you hit tactics, strategy, you play at least a longer time control game, and you also, of course, play faster 5-5. Now, on Wednesday, notice that I'm doing Endgame, and this is the book that I'm using, guys. Just like the one from Monday, this book I have already went over it, but these books, every time you go over them, you're going to learn something new. So 100 Endgames you must know. Guys, this is a book that you actually must know these endgames. And you're going to make sure that you cover the endgames that at least you should know. There are many other more complicated endgames, but these are the minimum you should know. At least endgames are fundamental. Endgames that you need to know either because you're going to get them more often or because you need them to understand other endgames. So feel free to do your own endgame training, but if you're looking for a book, this is going to be a good one for you. If you are advanced or not, you could look into this book. And then when I finish with my endgames, for this one I'm doing 60 minutes. You could do 45 minutes if you like. When I finish, I just go to website. It could be chess.com, Chess, Chess24, any website that you like, and you could play a game. Notice that I didn't put anything here because what I'm doing is when I finish, I myself right now, I'm not doing anything after the end game, but ideally you'll be playing some games. So you could just play games. I'm gonna put here, play some games, and that's gonna be it. Now on Thursday, we're gonna be doing opening. For openings, I'm just using books. Notice that I'm going over King's Indian Defense move by move. This is not even a book that I have in my recommendations, but I'm just going over this book to get back into it, guys. I'm mainly reviewing the games in that book. And for you, if you don't play the King's Indian Defense, maybe you want to prepare the Rui Lopez. Well, you could go back to lesson, I think 72, where I explain how you could do it, or you could simply get a book on it. To me, lately it's easier to just find a book. If I'm preparing, I don't know, the carol can, I find a book on it, and it's going to help me way better. So I'm just doing this one for now. Eventually I'm going to go into other books to prepare the rest of my openings, to add new openings maybe to my repertoire. So, but this is a good day. After I do openings, this might be a good day to then play some Blitz, because after that you want to play numerous games where you could use the openings that you're preparing. And if you have a friend, even better, because you could tell him, you know what, can you play this specific opening? I'm preparing the Sicilian. Can you just play E4 so that I can play my Sicilian, and so on. And then, guys, this is gonna be for me. So again, this is what I want to do. This is at least what I want to do. Sometimes I have more time. I do way more than this. Of course, Friday through Sunday, I'm going to be playing some Blitz on my phone, on the computer. So I do much more than this. But this is the minimum. If you don't do a plan like this, it's human nature. You're going to just do what you like the most. If you like to play more than anything else, you're going to end up that week just playing games or just doing tactics. This is going to make sure that at least you hit these areas. Many people don't like endgames, but if you have it here and you know that you should do it at least once a week, I know that you're going to come here and you're going to do it. Even if you don't want to do the 60 minutes, at least 30 minutes. But if you follow a plan like this, guys, for 6 weeks or longer, you're going to feel it in your game in general. Just do it, stick to it, make the commitment for 6 weeks. If you want to do it for longer, even better. And then once you start doing it, you're just gonna want to continue to do so. Now, one thing that I haven't mentioned so far before we go on to that next part, so far, again, we put it into days. I'm going to put a picture of this on the community tab. So if you want to look at it again, you could go there and follow this. So where I put the books names, you could put the books that you want to. Now, guys, what if you don't like books? I have a lot of students who, they tell me, you know what, I don't have the patience to read a chess book. Well, if you want, just then on Mondays when you do tactics, you don't want to read a book, then just go and do tactics. Instead of doing 45 minutes and then 15 minutes of puzzles, do the 45 minutes fully or the whole hour of doing just puzzles. And then you could do the puzzle rush. Just make sure that you take that day to do tactics. If you don't like books, just use the websites and maybe that's easier. I like books because the books is not only correct, incorrect. This specific book, they're going to give you, after 3-4 exercises, they give you the answer with some feedback. They give you paragraphs. Okay, this variation is good, this one is not. This game was played by this person. You could find the entire game here. So to me, it's a little bit better than just doing puzzle after puzzle. But you could do that, whatever works for you. Strategy, what you could do is, if you don't like books, well, go online, find games played by someone else, or find someone that has maybe a YouTube channel or a course that you guys purchased where they talk about strategy. On my YouTube channel, you could find a playlist where I have all of the videos about strategy. Maybe you have someone else that puts videos on YouTube or on their website about strategy. Just make sure that one day of the week you dedicate it to strategy. It doesn't have to be an hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, that's fine. Now, endgames, the same thing. If you don't like books, there are websites like chess.com. I keep saying chess.com because I use it, where you have a section that you guys could do, end games. And then lastly, for openings, if you don't like books, I told you on lesson number 72 how you could use List Chess or you could use chess.com to prepare your openings. And other than this, it's just playing games. Now, the other part that I wanted to show you is a little log that I'm following here. So I have a log. So on the first day that I did this, remember, lesson number 100 came out on July 4th. On July 5th, I started doing this. So the first day, I'm doing my tactics, and I struggled with exercise number 40. And I actually posted it on the community tab to see if you guys could find it. Now, this one, I didn't find it as quickly as I should have. So what I did is I made a note, and then when I went to do my puzzles on chess.com, I went to custom, and I chose, that one was about interference. So let me see if I can find it. Interference, there you go. And then of course here you increase the difficulty or lower it, up to you. And I just did a lot of exercises about interference, and that's also going to help me a lot. So keeping the log is also going to help you guys. I'm also doing it because at some point I could also share it with you. Okay, so it's already December. This is what I did for all of this time. This is how far I got with it. So again, this video is more than anything to give you some pointers on how you could train on your own and how you could be organized to get the most out of your training. Like always, you're gonna let me know in the comments if you found this useful or not. And of course, feel free to give me feedback. Maybe you guys have a better approach or other resources that I didn't mention. And if you put it in the comments, other people can learn from it. So again, like always, I'll talk to you in the comments and I'll see you in our next lesson.